Hi everybody, welcome to the online classes conducted by Social Science Department, PPTMYHSS Cherur. My dear children, today we learn the lesson Seasons and Time. This lesson is in Social Science 2 Part 1. So today our topic of discussion is a Chapter 1, Social Science 2 Part 1, Lesson 1. The title of this lesson is Seasons and Time. Everybody knows what a season is because we experience season in our life. You know that generally we say seasons are spring, summer, autumn and winter. And we know that these seasons change and they occur repeatedly. In this chapter, first we discuss why these seasonal changes occur. What causes seasonal changes on the earth? There are many reasons. Basically, seasons change because of variations in the amount of sunlight received on the earth. We know that sunlight is not received everywhere the same every time. It varies. We know that there are various changes all over the world regarding season as well as time. When there is day on one side of the earth, there is night on the other side of the earth. When there is spring season on one side, there is autumn on the other side. So is the case with summer and winter. Why these changes occur? Because of three reasons. The first one, revolutions of the earth. Second one, tilt of the earth's axis. And third one, apparent movement of the sun. We will look into each one of these in details. Regarding revolutions, you studied in your lower classes. What actually revolution means? Could you try? Yes, that refers to the movement of the earth. The earth revolves around the sun in an elliptical plane, in an elliptical orbit, and we know that it takes 365 days to complete one revolution. This revolution of the earth is one of the major causes for the changes, the seasonal changes that occur all over the world. Regarding revolution, one point is very important. I told you the revolution of the earth is in an elliptical orbit. The word elliptical particularly is very significant. You can see it on the board. The root of the earth, when revolves around the sun, takes an elliptical shape. What is the significance of this shape? Listen, there are occasions when the distance between the earth and sun come closer, whereas there are occasions when the distance between the earth and sun becomes farther. When the earth moves away, the distance becoming farther and farther. So it's very clear that the amount of sunlight falling on the earth is not always the same. It varies because the position of the sun with respect to the earth varies on the course of its revolution. And this is the reason why the amount of sunlight falling on the earth varies because of revolution. So the first, revolution of the earth around the sun. And secondly, a tilt of the earth axis. What do we understand by tilt of the earth axis? We know that the earth's axis is not straight. It is a little bit tilted, slanting, inclined. Tilt of the earth's axis, or we say inclination of the earth's axis. And we understand the earth's axis is tilted at an angle of 66.5 degrees on an orbital plane and 23.5 degrees on a vertical plane. Regarding vertical plane and orbital plane, you might have heard and studied in your mathematics classes. So the second reason for the changes in season, occurrence of season, is tilt of the earth's axis. And thirdly, we come to apparent movement of the sun. Here, the word apparent is very significant. Do you know what's the meaning of the word apparent? apparently. Yes, apparently means something that does not really exist, but it seems to be there. It looks to be there, it appears to be happening, but it does not really happen. So apparent movement of the sun, that phrase tells us sun does not move actually in real terms, but we feel it moves like. Then what is that apparent movement of the sun? Look at please here on the board. You can see the diagram of the globe here, and we all know what is written on the board. I don't want to go into details of this on the globe, and we know this is equator, 0 degree latitude, and as we move towards north we have 90 degree latitudes, and same way as we come down to the south we have 90 degree latitude. And then apparent movement of the sun refers to shift. The sun shifts from Tropic of Cancer, that is 23.5 north, towards Tropic of Capricorn, that is 23.5 south. This shifting of the sun is known as apparent movement of the sun. Remember, I told you, apparently we feel that sun moves over these two hemispheres, in the north and the south. Let us discuss once again the main points. We have been discussing about the causes for the changes in seasons. Why do different seasons occur on the earth? What are the reasons for the different seasons on the earth? We know the seasons. We have the seasons like spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Why do they really occur? And I told you, the basis for the changes in season is variations in the amount of sunlight. And we know sunlight is not received everywhere the same. Why this variation in sunlight? Because of three reasons. They are, okay, please repeat along with me. Revolution of the earth, tilt of the earth's axis, and then apparent movement of the sun. With respect to apparent movement of the sun, you need to understand one more term. That term is parallelism of the earth's axis. What's that? Parallelism of the earth's axis. Let us see what is meant by parallelism of the earth's axis. I told you the sun shifts from Tropic of Cancer towards Tropic of Capricorn, and the earth revolves around the sun. While the earth is revolving around the sun, the tilt of the earth axis, the inclination of the earth axis. What's that inclination of the earth axis? Don't you remember? The earth axis is inclined, is tilted, is slanting at an angle of 66.5 degree on an orbital plane and 23.5 on a vertical plane. That inclination of the earth is maintained throughout the revolution. This aspect is particularly known as parallelism of the earth axis. This is very important. This parallelism of the earth axis is maintained throughout the year. So we experience the different seasons and the repetition of the seasons. Now, with regard to apparent movement of the sun, you need to remember three terms. The first one is equinoxes, and second one summer solstice, and third one winter solstice. What is meant by that? What is meant by equinoxes? What is meant by summer solstice? And what is meant by winter solstice? Coming to equinoxes, that refers to two dates. What are those dates? The first one, March 21st and September 23rd. March 21st and September 23rd are known as equinoxes. What is meant by these equinoxes? On these 2 days, particularly, the sun is over the equator, In its movement from Tropic of Capricorn and Tropic of Cancer to the Tropic of Capricorn, the sun apparently moves towards from north to south and reaches on the equator these 2 days. From the sun moves on June 21st from Tropic of Cancer towards the equator and reaches the equator June, July, August, September 23. And September 23, the position of the sun is above the equator. And then from the equator it moves towards the Tropic of Capricorn and reaches on December 22nd, then returns. Then December, January, February, March 21st, it reaches again on the equator. So these 2 dates, March 21st and September 23rd, are known as equinoxes. What is special on these days? We know equinoxes means equal. The duration of day and night on both the hemisphere of the earth is equal on these 2 days. So we call them equinoxes. Now let us examine what's meant by the term summer solstice. Summer solstice refers to a date. That date is June 21st. June 21st is the day when sun reaches the Tropic of Cancer. On this particular day, what happens is that all over the northern hemisphere, we experience the longest day, and at the same time, all over the southern hemisphere, we experience the longest night. Then the next we come to the winter solstice. Winter solstice refers to a particular date, that is December 22nd. On December 22nd, what happens is that in its apparent movement of the sun reaches on the Tropic of Capricorn 23.5 degrees south. On this particular date, what happens is that the sun apparently comes above the Tropic of Capricorn, and that particular day in southern hemisphere we experience the longest day, and otherwise on the northern hemisphere we experience the longest date. Hi dear children, today we are going to wind up our class. Let me conclude the lesson. Now a small video is attached with this lesson. You refer to the video, then you will get a clearer picture of what is meant by the apparent movement of the earth, tilt of the earth axis, occurrence of seasons, etc. I believe. And then by the end of your lesson, you please do this work. In your textbook, refer figure 1-2 and answer these questions. The first one, bring out the differences between summer solstice and winter solstice. Better you put it in a table like here, summer solstice, then winter solstice. And then second, what are the special features of March 21st and September 23rd? Do this exercise and keep safe. Thank you.